a lawyer, and recently I became a commander. So like to explain what that means. So I learned to write iPhone apps. So I'm a developer by passion. I learned to write iPhone apps while I was studying for the bar exams in 2009. And that was because I wanted to maintain my sanity. Because when you're studying for the bar exams, all day you're just reading books and masisiraan ka talaga ng ulo. So I told myself, I have to do something else so that I can maintain my sanity. So that's what I did while studying for the bar exams. And then in 2010, January 2010, while I was waiting for the bar results to come out, me and my girlfriend at that time, wife now, we founded a startup, a small startup software development company called Jiro App Solutions, in which we were creating iOS apps, basically applications for the iPhone, for the iPad. And so this was our little startup, our little company. In March 2010, I became a lawyer in March 2010. I was fortunate to place 6th in the bar exams. So nakachamba. Wait till you hear what I'm doing right now. So in July 2010, I became a consultant for the MMDA. Is everyone aware what MMDA is? Metro Manila Development Authority. Okay, napapanood nyo naman siguro sa TV, although it's basically like your city government of, your provincial government of Davao, but minus all the power. So just all the responsibilities, we have to take care of flood, traffic, waste management, zonal planning, but MMDA chairman is not elected, so I can't really control the mayors of Metro Manila. But basically, it's a very tough job. But thankfully, we have a very hardworking chairman who's heading MMDA. So I became a consultant. Actually, I was a spokesperson for MMDA for a while. Siguro mga 2 months lang. And then, so this is when I really started working on Twitter, on Facebook for MMDA, on all the technology and communication stuff for MMDA. And then in June 2011, my story will later show, I got promoted to traffic director. And this is when my life just came crumbling down. Because as traffic director, I became responsible for the whole traffic of Metro Manila. So, you know how pag traffic, everyone, wherever you go, there's always people talking about na-traffic ako, late ako, na-traffic ako. So when I was traffic director of Metro Manila, every time I'd hear that, masakit. As in, I would take it personally because parang a part of it was kasalanan ko. But it was a very noble challenge that I took on, and I think I did my best for the 2 years that I occupied that position. And then recently, because I needed to focus now on the family that I'm about to start, I recently joined a private corporation called MRM. It's a part of, have you heard of Macan, the advertising agency? So the digital arm of Macan is MRM. And in MRM, they hired me to be the social command director. So parang, wow, what's that? So basically, what do I do the whole day? So I showed you that I'm a lawyer, I'm a developer, but what do I do the whole day, to be honest? I sit in front of a computer, tweeting and posting on Facebook. And, but more than that, I'm also coming up with how to bring social media to the next level. Not just sitting in front of the computer, posting and tweeting, but rather, what can we do with social media? Where can we bring it, especially for brands? So that's my introduction to myself. So at least now, maybe you have an idea of who the heck this guy is. So let's go with my story. So in September 26, 2009, most of you maybe would not be familiar, but something happened in Metro Manila. In September 26, 2009, I was taking my bar exams. It was the last weekend of my bar exams, and it was postponed because on this day, Typhoon Ondoy hit Metro Manila, and actually a lot of the other parts of the Philippines. So my bar exams was postponed. Cars were basically underwater. This was basically the scene when I woke up that Sunday of September 26th, that Saturday of September 26th, that basically Metro Manila was underwater. And amidst all of these events that were going on, remember this is September 2009, there was one thing that the public was clamoring for, and I could see this on Twitter. And basically they were saying, sana may Twitter yung MMDA. Because at this time, I'm sure maybe sila Maria Ressa remember this, talagang none of the government agencies were on Twitter. Basically, it was just you, like the people lang, the people who were tweeting, sending reports na baha dito, and then none of the government agencies were on Twitter. And me, being the person that, I was taking the bar supposedly, and this left an impression on my head na, oo nga, no, sana may Twitter yung MMDA. So again, this was September 2009. I had no idea I was ever going to join MMDA. But this was something that really stuck to my head. So in July 27, 2011, this was my first day when I decided, after becoming a lawyer, after checking out what my options were, I decided I'll join MMDA. And this was my very first office. Very simple office. This was actually my very first job. Because straight from law school, I joined MMDA. I was very optimistic about the new government, about the new leadership. And so this was my first office. On July 27, I joined MMDA. And the first thing the chairman, so when I arrived at MMDA, this was basically what we had. We had a MMDA teleradyo. It was basically a TV station and a radio station in which the MMDA was broadcasting CCTV feed, announcements. But what was the problem with this? So number one, it was only available for AM radio listeners and Destiny Cable subscribers. Now, Destiny Cable subscribers, I think about maximum 200,000 in Metro Manila. And then AM radio listeners, konti lang. It was costing the taxpayers about 20 million a year with about 38 manpower, 38 people, technicians, engineers, staff, cameraman, lighting man, and basically about 20 million pesos a year for something that we didn't really know what was it doing, what was the effect that it was creating, who was actually watching this. So it also competed with other radio stations and other TV stations. So basically, GMA, ABS, they wouldn't really report on what they saw on this TV radio station because it's actually a media outlet by itself. It's not a government entity, but rather, if you're listening to MMDA radio, you're not listening to DCBB. If you're watching MMDA channel, then you're not watching the ANC. So it was actually a competitor to the media channels, and that's why none of them would pick up news from there. And then the total reach was basically, we didn't know. We didn't know how many people were watching it. We didn't know how many people were listening to it. We just didn't know. And again, we were spending about 20 million a year on running this thing that we didn't know how many people it was reaching. So one of the first things the chairman said was, Yves, isarado na natin yung radio TV, mag-Twitter na lang tayo. That's one of the things that he ordered me. So on July 30, just 3 days after we came into office, we went into a beta testing of the Twitter account of the MMDA. So it was announced, MMDA to launch Twitter account, and then chairman said, Twitter is a good medium to directly communicate with the public. We intend to make full use of social networking and microblogging to deliver prompt and up-to-date traffic information to whoever needs it, and at the same time, receive feedback that are important to us in improving our services. So this was basically the directive of chairman to me. Yves, magtayo ka ng Twitter account for MMDA to deliver information out to the public and to collect information back from the public. And I said, yes, boss, because this was really what I wanted to do. This was really what I wanted to do, which is to make use of technology and communications to improve our services. So what were the three main objectives? So now I'm going to go into the story of MMDA, the Twitter account, so that you can better understand what happened, what we did, and what we're doing right now, and what are our main objectives, what are our main motivations in life. So the first objective of the MMDA Twitter account is, number one, to quickly and efficiently disseminate traffic, flood, and other Metro Manila relevant ephemeral information to our constituents. So everyone's asking, what's ephemeral? What's that? Medyo, ngayon ko lang narinig yan. So ephemeral basically means fleeting information. Information that you only need for right now. So for example, traffic ba sa labas? That information is ephemeral in the sense that you need it right now and you don't care about that information later on. Basically, information na baha ba dito sa area na to right now? May nagbanggaan ba right now? Information that's basically hindi nagtatagal. So that's what ephemeral is. So the number one purpose was to get that kind of information out there. And we had that in MMDA because we have cameras, we have radio reporters, we have enforcers who are sending us the information. So this was number one. Number two was to increase the MMDA's monitoring and incident detection capabilities by tapping into the active Metro Manila citizenry. So basically, we knew that we could not possibly monitor the whole Metro Manila because we only have about 100 CCTVs for the whole Metro Manila. That's not enough. We only have about 1,800 traffic enforcers, so we cannot possibly monitor all the streets of Metro Manila. But we knew from experience that the public, the Metro Manila citizens, were willing to participate, were willing to help out, were willing to send us reports. So we made sure that we had a place where the public could actually do that, where the public could actually help us by sending us reports. And I'll show you some of those examples later. And finally, we wanted to disseminate important MMDA announcements such as new policies, road closures, roadworks, and projects. So what's the difference between number 3 and number 1? Number 1 is, again, it's more of the short-term information. The traffic ba now? May banggaan ba dito? Anong nangyayari dito? And number 3 is more like the more permanent information or the more long-term information, such as, for example, one way na ngayon ng isang kalsada, so hindi yun isang araw, hindi yun isang oras lang, kundi forever na. Or for example, bawal na ngayon ng kalbo sa bus. So that's something that we could announce on the Twitter account. Or for example, bawal na ang bus sa Manila. That's something again that we could announce on the Twitter account. So that's the number 3 purpose. So these were the 3 main goals, and so now I want to show you how we accomplished this and what we did with it actually. So number 1, to disseminate traffic information. So this is an example. We would post traffic views. This basically means a picture of the traffic. So we would also post traffic updates, but we knew that a picture speaks 1,000 words. So for example, with this one, instead of just saying the traffic situation, we would post an actual picture of the traffic scenario so that the public would be informed na mukhang traffic dito, mukhang okay pa dito, mukhang may banggaan dito. So because of the limitations of Twitter, pakita mo na yung picture so that the public can really understand and appreciate the traffic situation. Or, for example, pag may banggaan, so this one, may tumaob na taxi. So instead of just saying that there was a vehicular accident at a certain location, pakita mo yung picture so that they can understand that may tumaob palang taxi. And usually what happens is, pag nandito ka sa traffic na to dahil may tumaob na taxi, pag nakita mo yung picture na tumaob na taxi, hindi ka na magre-reklamo kasi ma-realize mo, okay na yung nandito ako sa traffic kesa ako yung nandun sa tumaob na kotse. And that's something that was never done before, in the sense that before, alam mo lang may banggaan pero hindi mo nakikita before kung saan, ano itsura, ano nangyari, sino involved. So now this is what we wanted to do. By these kinds of information, these are the fleeting kinds of information. Yan yung mga may pakialam ka lang for the next 1 hour, the next 30 minutes, and then after that, wala na nabubura na siya. Another example is for floods. So for example, we would advise na both directions approach to this tunnel is heavy due to flooding at the tunnel, and then we would advise them to take alternate routes. So this is very important because I'm sure a lot of you have watched the Christopher Lau incident, and maybe some of you laughed, but for us with the MMDA, we took it seriously. We thought to ourselves, we really need to inform people about these things. We have to avoid it when possible, that people get stuck in floods. So we announced floods, and then we also announced bomb diffusions. So for example, this one, ongoing bomb diffusing of bomb at C5 Katipunan southbound, take alternate route. So something that is important na meron palang bomba in an area, we announced that. Although this was a false alarm, that's why we had to delete the tweet. But so that's one of the things that we released to the public, that we announced to the public. This one was reported to us by the public. Again, as I said, the story is not just about at MMDA, but rather it's also about our interaction with our citizenry. And this one is a picture of a banggaan that was sent in to us by the public, by the citizenry, and then we announce it so that everyone else would know na may banggaan pala at Eagle Street northbound. So if you're there, you're wondering bakit di gumagalaw yung traffic, then you can see na meron palang taxi na banggaan ng 2 truck. And so even if you're not yet there, you can avoid it. If you're already there, it explains to you what's going on. Because the worst thing about traffic sometimes is hindi mo alam ano nangyayari, tapos pagdating mo doon, na-clear out na, so you never knew what happened. So this is the example of how we quickly and efficiently disseminate these kinds of real-time information to the public so that they may be guided by this information on their lives. So for example, wag na munang umalis, wag dumaan dito, wag munang umalis at this time. So number 2 is to increase the MMDA's monitoring and detection capabilities by tapping into the active Metro Manila citizenry. So this is the two-way part of Twitter. The Twitter is not just outbound. Twitter is not just bato na information, but rather Twitter is also inbound. So how do we do this? So number 1, we always tell our followers, tweet us your flood reports, preferably with picture and time taken, so we can collect flood info and inform everyone. So this is something we always do when it's raining, when it's flooding, because again, we acknowledge the fact that we cannot possibly monitor all the floods happening in Metro Manila, but the public can help us in monitoring. So we do this. Again, tweet us your flood reports so we can inform the Flood Control Information Center. And then again, this is an example of a report sent into MMDA. MMDA rear-end collision of 2 SUVs at Elliptical Road. So again, this collision was sent to us by the public, through Twitter. And because of that, we would be able to deploy a tow truck or an ambulance much earlier than if we had to wait for an enforcer to see the collision. Because again, sa Banggaan, every minute counts. The difference between the ambulance arriving at 5 o'clock, the ambulance arriving at 4:55 is big. So every minute counts. And the public now has the ability to help us in detecting these accidents so that we may be able to take action much more promptly, much more efficiently, and pag alam na namin na, nako, 2 truck pala, mas malaking tow truck ang papadala natin. So this is a picture of a burning car at EDSA Shaw Tunnel. And this is one of my favorites because we knew there was a burning car pero hindi namin alam ano itsura, ano. And this was basically just the public, without even mentioning at MMDA, it's become a habit for our citizenry to put the hashtag MMDA because they know that if they do that, the MMDA will monitor it even without mentioning at MMDA. And then we will take action on it. So basically, this was sent in to us. There's a burning car in the tunnel, and we were able to to call the right people, to call Bureau of Fire, to call a tow truck, and respond to this incident more promptly. Again, this is another accident, car accident, MMDA car accident along Araneta U-turn slot, blocking the whole road. So something like this, where the car is already blocking the whole road, this will have a big effect on the traffic situation. So what this does is this again informs us that there's a car blocking the whole road, there's an accident blocking the whole road, so that we may be able to take the right action more promptly. So number 3, disseminate important MMDA announcements such as new policies, road closures, roadworks, and projects. So what's a good example of this? So for example, in Metro Manila, we always have these road reblockings where every weekend, the DPWH, the Department of Public Works and Highways, always fixes the roads that need fixing. And of course, that causes traffic, usually during the weekend. So we would publish the list of areas where the road reblockings would be so that, number 1, the media would know, and number 2, the citizenry would know so that you can take proper action. So for example, alam mo na may road reblocking this weekend sa malapit sa area ninyo, then you can say na, nako, iwas na lang ako doon, sa iba ako dadaan. For example, this one is an announcement of a new policy. So when we made a flyover two-way, so from the flyover, the Rockwell flyover being one-way, we decided, we think it would be best if it were two-way. And of course, we use Twitter to announce this. We use Twitter to post a photo of how it will look. We use Twitter to post a video of how the traffic flow would be. So we basically use Twitter to disseminate information on our new projects. And another example is for this one. For EDSA People Power, there's an article by Rappler quoting MMDA. And of course, we decide to retweet Rappler because nakuha na nila yung essence nung gusto namin sabihin sa taong bayan. So we tweeted that parts of EDSA closed on Monday for People Power. And basically, that's something that the public should know 2 days before, 3 days before. and so that they can take the right action, that they can take the right adjustments to their plans. For the bus segregation system, this is one of the new projects of MMDA last year. We had to come up with infographics, and other media outlets also came up with infographics, and we would use Twitter to share this, to share it to the public, so that the public would be better informed. Whoa, okay. Time limit pala. Kala ko unlimited to. Okay, but so I told you there was 3, but now I'll go to the 4th and even a 5th. So the 4th purpose for the MMDA account is to act as an online traffic enforcer. So how are we doing this? So the MMDA youth monitors a lot of, we monitor a lot. We don't just monitor MMDA, we also monitor number coding, we also monitor traffic. So for example, this one, there was a person driving without a license, and sabi niya, people in blue uniform, stay away. So we reply, saan po kayo location, ma'am, and ano pong plate number, para naman maging fair. And celebrities, whenever they tweet, not just celebrities, but also non-celebrities, I forgot I was coding today. So we would remind them na, ma'am, hope you will do your civic duty and stay off the road until 7 p.m. since you are coding today. Thank you po. So basically, it's like an online conscience that would allow us to reach out to the community and tell them, don't break the law. Another example is Casey Montero, color coding now, playing hide and seek on my way to a meeting at TV5. So we tell him that, sir, MMDA repellent is obeying the traffic rules and regulations. So just small conversations that hopefully will help make people comply with the law better. One of the most popular ones was Miss Gretchen Ho. MMDA doesn't want Ateneo Lady Eagle Green, Gretchen Ho breaking coding rules. So she tweeted, thinking of going home early and playing hide and seek with the MMDA. Ha ha ha, risk it. So if you noticed, she didn't mention at MMDA, but she did say the letters MMDA. So MMDA just replied to her, don't do it, ma'am. Simple lang. Diba? It's just 4 words, don't do it, ma'am. It got 200 plus retweets, 200 plus favorites, and then, it had news articles. And so she replied, she said, hi ma'am, sir, I'm still in school and I didn't break any of your rules. Diba? So again, that was basically using Twitter to shape behavior towards compliance with the law, towards following the law, towards basically doing your part to help out. Because number coding has a purpose. Number coding is basically to reduce the number of vehicles on the road. If everyone will violate it, especially if you're a role model and you're saying that you're gonna violate it, people will follow. So she didn't follow. She didn't violate, and hopefully it was because we reminded her, don't do it, ma'am. And hopefully that had an effect, not just on her, but also on her followers as well. So, of course, some people commented, ha ha ha, scary MMDA, checking tweets on possible traffic violations. MMDA stalking level professional. And we're very proud of this because we really listen. We really listen to what the public is saying. We really listen because if we can make that difference by, telling a person, don't do it, then we will. Because libre lang naman mag-tweet eh. Imagine mo yung Twitter team namin nakaupo lang doon buong araw waiting for people to ask them questions, waiting for also people to tweet that they will violate, so that we really try to communicate and listen to our constituents. But the 5th main objective at MMDA is to make people smile. So it's like, what? This government agency is trying to make people smile? What's up with that? So how do we do that? Why do we do that? So every Valentine's Day, we have a Valentine's Day message. So happy Valentine's, everyone. Please remember na hindi po namin jurisdiction ang mga nagbabanggaang puso. This is a common... So, reminder lang, hindi namin jurisdiction yan. And everyone always tweets this na may MMDA ba dito? Kasi nagbanggaan ng puso natin, di ba? So we had to remind them na, hindi namin jurisdiction yan, but, game kami dyan. So this one was about 416 retweets. And then, 2 Valentine's Days ago, we posted this, Happy Valentine's Day to all motorcycle riders. Starting today, stick to one na po kayo. Stick to one lane. And this was because we launched the EDSA motorcycle lanes on Valentine's Day. So, may konting joke siya, but may konting seryoso din siya because totoong stick to one lane na lang yung mga motorcycle riders. And so, of course, this hopefully brings a smile to our constituents' face, to our followers' faces. So these are the Valentine's examples. This one, make people smile. Parokya ni Edgar concert at Eastwood Libis starting 7 p.m. So simple lang siya, parokya ni Edgar. But apparently, people loved it. Like Edgar, and then they were smiling. Are you watching parokya ni Edgar slang? Slang kasi it's supposed to be Edgar, di ba? And then people are really laughing like, ha ha ha, social, Edgar, kolehiyala. So it's just a simple thing. It was a mistake actually. It was a mistake. It should supposed to be Edgar. But we realized that saying Edgar, people were laughing about it. So, sabi namin, sige, hayaan nyo na yan. Okay, Justin Bieber concert tonight at SM Mall of Asia. Avoid the area if you're not a believer, as traffic expected to be heavy. So that had 782 retweets. Simple lang, di ba? So, imagine if we had just said, avoid the area if you're not watching. Baduy, di ba? But of course, we knew that we had to be relevant. We had to try to make people smile. So yan, pumatok naman siya. Bonfire event at Ateneo de Manila University later today might cause one big traffic in the Katipunan area. Motorists advised to take alternate routes. So this is an Ateneo relevant joke that maybe not all people would get, but for the Atenistas, they were like, one big traffic. So, see kayo, hindi nyo rin na-gets, di ba? So medyo minsan may konting malalim din. This one. J-Lo concert tonight at SM MOA. Expect traffic build-up at area as many fans have been waiting for tonight to dance again. Di ba? So this one, what about 348 retweets? And all the J-Lo fans, instead of just announcing that there's a concert, by having these small things that are relevant to what you're announcing, people retweet you. And when they retweet you, you're getting your message across to a wider audience because you want people to avoid kung hindi naman sila manonood, or you want people to know that there's a concert. So, by being relevant to the topic at hand, by trying to make them smile, we get 348 retweets, 782 retweets, 51 retweets. This one. Okay, MMDA, sure ha? She was asking a question and then she said, sure ha? If I get huli, I will show your tweet to me ha? And we replied, yes ma'am, if you get huli by MMDA, you can show our tweet. So can you imagine that? The government is telling you that if you get caught by one of their enforcers, you can show their tweet so that you can basically, because I think she was asking a question about number coding. So we told her na, show, if you get huli, show our tweet. And then this one naman, alright, is it masikip in EDSA near TAF? MMDA, is it masikip in EDSA near TAF? Not naman masyado ma'am, some kind of moderate lang naman ang traffic near EDSA TAF. So, some kind of moderate. Okay lang, hindi naman po masyado. So again, hopefully it brought a smile to the face of the person that we were talking to. Ito, classic to. MMDA, katapusan na ba ng mundo? No one knows, sir, pero sure po ako, malapit na ang katapusan ng buwan. And this is so funny because I didn't even know about this until people started tweeting me about what my team did. And I'm like, loko talaga tong team ko manang-mana. So because of that, people always thank us, thank you, kaya umaasa pa rin ako sa Pinas because of these. There are guys like you who do your job well. These are basically the kinds of feedback that we get. Thanks for the info. Every motorist should follow you. So this is the kind of and more feedback. So what's the result? What's the result of all this? Since I only have 5 minutes left. So what's the result of all this? MMDA is gaining about 482 followers a day, about sometimes 500. We're at 600,000 followers out of, remember our constituency is Metro Manila lang 12 million followers. So we're at 5% of Metro Manila is following us. And I think that's not a bad metric. So every week, every day pala, we get about 400 followers a day. And then for me, in June 2011, because of my tweeting thing with MMDA, I got promoted to traffic director. So, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. So, no, but it was a good thing. So, I got promoted just, for basically that my bosses felt that, what I was doing as, helping MMDA improve its services through tweeting was actually working. And so I got promoted. And then, again, these are some of the feedbacks. I'm gonna read like 5 of them. So I just want to say your Twitter is just one of the most helpful sites in the whole worldwide world. Thanks for all the updates. I love how active MMDA is on social networking sites. Way to go. Grabe ka, MMDA, nakakainis ka na, ang bilis-bilis mong sumagot. Can you imagine that comment towards a government agency? That has never been imagined before. The MMDA Twitter account is the most useful account that I follow. And great public service transformation, MMDA, a great model of how good governance can improve people's lives. So again, remember, this is just us tweeting. This is just a bunch of guys, 6 guys, plus me, sitting in front of a computer, tweeting to the public. And we get feedback like this, and of course, nakakalambot ng puso, diba? After the Habagat, we were given an award, a Digital Heroes Award, a New Media Digital Heroes Award for the MMDA Twitter team. And this was because talagang hindi sila umuwi, tuloy-tuloy lang yung tweets to make sure that hindi kaya ng Twitter team pababain yung baha. But at least what we can do would be to inform the public na baha dito, so that walang lumutang na kotse, walang masabi na hindi sila na-inform, because we really went into overtime during Habagat to ensure that we would inform the public as much as we could. And we were given a Digital Heroes Award after Habagat. And again, what's the result? More than the award, more than everything else, the result that we're really most proud of is how we have started something that can be emulated by other government agencies. And basically, this is the landscape now. Remember when we started in 2010, there were only 2 agencies tweeting, MMDA and gov.ph. And now, where are we now in 2013? We have Makati Traffic doing the same thing, posting traffic views similar to what we're doing. We have Valenzuela City doing the same thing, posting flood alerts similar to what we were doing. We have Taguig, the city of Taguig, doing the same thing, posting traffic updates for their constituents. We have Marikina doing the same thing, posting traffic flood updates. We have Pasig, the city of Pasig, doing the same thing. So basically, we're very happy and we're very proud that what we started as a simple skunkworks operation, 5-man team tweeting, has now become an industry standard. That every LGU now is already considering, how do we tweet? How do we serve the public better by using Twitter? And we're very happy about this. And more than the government agencies, we're also influencing private agencies such as Skyway. This is the operator of the Skyway in Metro Manila. Even the North Luzon Expressway is doing the same thing that we were doing. Even the Cavite Expressway is doing the same thing. So again, from what we started in 2010 na, sige, mag-Twitter tayo para mag-serve ng public, it has now become the standard. It has now become a norm to do that. Because parang pag wala kang Twitter ngayon to serve the public, parang kulang parang bitin. So, some 5 lessons. I have 2 minutes left. 5 lessons I learned from this whole experience. Number 1, information is power. Empowering the citizenry with useful information enables them to make informed decisions in their day-to-day lives, saving them from unnecessary hardships and stress. So again, using just information, just Twitter, we can save a person 10 minutes of traffic, 20 minutes of traffic. We can totally save a person from getting stuck in traffic. And that's big. If I can get you home an hour earlier so that you can spend that hour with your family, sulit na yung ginawa ko, sulit na yung trabaho ko. If I can get a whole family home earlier so that they can spend more time together, then it's worth it. And again, this is just purely with information, purely with Twitter. Number 2, the Filipino spirit of bayanihan strongly lives on in the social age. We just have to come up with ways to tap this. If you build it, they will come. And this is what we learned from MMDA. People really want to help out. People really want to help each other out. It's just that before, there was no way for them to do that. And so with the advent of Twitter, now there are ways for people to really come in. And it's not just MMDA doing it. There's all these other outlets doing it. Rappler is doing it. Rescue PH is doing it. That you just really need to give people a way to help out, and they will help out. Number 3, do good things and people will follow you in every sense of the word. And I meant this in that people will follow you as followers, so your follower will grow. And people will follow you in the sense of they will emulate what you do and do it themselves. And that for us is very good because we cannot possibly do everything. We cannot possibly tweet out the traffic updates na lahat ng kalsada. But if we set the example, then Makati Traffic does it for Ayala Ave, Makati Ave. Pasig Traffic does it for their streets. Mandaluyong Traffic for their streets. So again, everyone chips in. And all you have to do is show people how it should be done, how it can be done efficiently and effectively. Number 4, the Filipino people want to believe in their government, but you have to earn their trust and respect. It's the little things that can make all the difference. And this is basically one of the takeaways from the feedback that the public get. Again, this is just Twitter, but the feedback that we are getting na just the efficiency in working on Twitter is making them believe in their government again. That again is something that's very meaningful for us. Na hindi mo kailangan gawin yung mga sobrang big infrastructure projects or sobrang laking changes. Basically, all we do is make sure masagot natin yung taong bayan, yung tanong ng taong bayan within 3 minutes. Yun lang ang rule ko sa kanila. Masagot nyo reliably, efficiently, and dapat accurately. And yun lang hinihiling ko sa inyo. And they're doing that. And the public feedback has been very, very good. Very, very good. And this is something na this has been our takeaway from that. And finally, government doesn't have to be so serious all the time. This was what I learned. Make jokes, make people laugh, touch hearts, but be reliable and dependable. This is how you regain the people's trust. So, from our examples, di ba, hindi kailangan naman masyadong seryoso yung gobyerno. Pwede naman mag-smiley, pwede naman mag-jokes. Pero ang point dito, wag lang puro jokes. Wag lang yung Twitter account ng ahensya ninyo is puro jokes lang, walang content. If you notice, we would joke, but meron pa ring laman yung mensahe namin. Meron pa ring substance. And yun nga, I think this was, I don't know if in the past you've heard about jokes from the government, but yun nga, it is possible, especially in this new social media age na we can redefine how the relationship is between the government and the public. So with that, thank you very much. That was my little story. Again, I'm Doblezeta on Twitter.
Thank you very much, Attorney Yves. Please take your seat, sir.